All right, everyone, you have a new alarmist climate change report. This comes from the UN, so keep in mind, you can't shoot the messenger, but the messenger, once you realize that they're mentally deranged, typically you take the message with a grain of salt, I would think. They're saying basically what they've been saying for 20 years now, which is man-made climate change is going to kill us all. It's an existential crisis. Debate is over. It's man-made and it's a huge problem. Again, let me ask people something. If you were in the know, you're a top scientist, politician, billionaire, whatever. If you genuinely thought that the world was going to resemble Tatooine or be like a hurricane hellscape over the next 30 years because of exorbitant amounts of human industry, which one would you do? If you genuinely thought your lineage will be cut off, everyone will die, billionaire and poor Joe, they both go in the same shallow grave. There's no one to bury them left because the earth has been completely destroyed by human endeavor. Firstly, how do you explain that a fundamentally more or less closed system has managed to destabilize itself like that? Because all that carbon was already there to begin with, just so that we're clear. They're not even 100% sure, by the way, through which processes it is created, oil, that is, and its offshoots. There is some debate. I happen to believe that bacteria pooping, essentially, is where much of the oil comes from. Porous rock is infiltrated, and chemotrophs especially, infiltrated by material. They process it, they excrete, and hydrocarbons are built. And then through tectonic activity, from areas of high to low pressure, oil is squeezed together into reservoirs. This is just my own personal opinion. It's not shared by many geologists, but it's definitely something that's floated out there. Which one would you do? If you thought that climate change, which is specifically man-made, with no feedback mechanism to solve it, will kill us all over the next however many decades or centuries. Would you propose a marginal new tax and NIMBYist regulation policies in Western countries that will just offshore the factories that are making the pollution to China or to India, which will skirt the law? They can sign on to all of the climate accords that they want, but at the end of the day, inspectors from other countries don't go to those countries and have leeway. The books are cooked the same way the COVID numbers in China are cooked. That's why it's so great for U.S. investors and U.S. Industrialists, because if I have a smokestack in Wisconsin, it's hyper-regulated. If I move it to China, the Chinese will let me live there basically tax-free as long as I employ a bunch of people, and I can abuse the workers. I don't have to care about the fucking environment. The Chinese government makes a big show about planting billions of trees. Here's what I would suggest. If I were a billionaire, or if I were a top-level politician or something, I would go out on TV and I would beg people to buy less. Because then with less materialism, you need less industry. It's all about supply and demand. The supply is there because there's a demand. The demand hasn't changed. Back in the 90s, we kids were told recycle, reuse, reduce. Everyone was really good about recycling, Vermont especially. They'd set up green bins and all that stuff. Recycle your plastic, recycle your glass. And now we find out, of course, technically for some sorts of trash, probably more energy efficient to just incinerate it and use that as an energy source. That being said, nobody wanted to do reduce. Nobody wanted to go without the cheap plastic crap. Nobody wanted to go without the Nokia flip phone, back at that time that was advanced. Nobody wanted to go without the new TV or the armchair. No, they just wanted to recycle. They wanted somebody else to solve the problem. When they were talking about acid rain at the time too. It's interesting how that disappeared from public consciousness. Turns out it wasn't that big a problem after all. Well, there are certainly parts of the world with this acid rain. It's not in the West anymore because we sent all the factories elsewhere so that other people's pine trees could turn red and die. So that other people's kids could get leukemia. We just moved it all to Eastern Asia or parts of parts of West Africa and also areas in Latin America. We moved it away. Out of sight, out of mind. If I were in that position, though, I would tell people, buy less, which is the opposite of what they want you to do. They want you to buy more. It's very, very interesting how they want you to buy more materialistic crap because it's all a money grab. It's not really about science and about the climate. Judge them by their actions, by the way they actually live, in their mansions with private jets and yachts, telling you to buy more. That's not in line with environmentalism in any way, shape, or form. I would also tell people, hey, smush out the housing authorities and start gardening. Become more localized, because then you have to ship less things. That, again, you save on oil. Or even if you're using like natural gas, solar, or anything like that, it still takes resources. Reduce the number of resources meant to maintain your lifestyle. Deindustrialize to the best of your possibilities. We could wipe out half of the demand if we simply made things more efficient, and then we wouldn't have this problem. Climate change is solved. Oh, and the population density doesn't have to go down for us to save the world against becoming Tatooine. And then I'd tell people, volunteer and go plant trees. But here's the problem. Environmentalism has gotten lazy. Activism has gotten lazy. Part of this is the result of the internet. It used to be, go out on Green Up Day and pick up trash. Go out and plant a couple trees. Expand your garden, grow a victory garden, whatever. Do it yourself. Because you can make a marginal difference, and if everyone pitches in and does the same thing, things get a whole lot better. Society is greener, society is cleaner, society is cheaper, society is less materialistic, more community organized, more locally and regionally organized. But that's the thing. All of these actual solutions to the perceived problem of climate change are the opposite of what they're selling you. They're not telling you to buy less. They're not telling you the truth, that if this positing is true, man-made climate change, which is now irreversible and has no natural feedback mechanism, is endangering our entire species and indeed the whole world's ecosystems. If that is the case, they would not be telling you it's okay to buy the third TV. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Buy a second couch. Have a second home. Buy a yacht. But yet they do. And they all live that same lifestyle. A bunch of wanton materialists and degenerates. None of these people have said, you know what? I'm destroying the world. Shit, I'm getting rid of my seaside home. It'll be underwater in 10 years anyway. And I'm going to move into an alpine region and do like conservation. I'm going to become a vegetarian. I'm going to make my own clothes. I'm going to raise like sheep and spin my own wool. I'm going to become like a survivalist. Why is it that rich people who have the ability to do that and still live quite comfortably and have their fucking brewery and their woolen mill and stuff, they'd still be rich? Hell, they could probably make a huge amount of money selling it as artisanal goods. None of them are doing it. No, they built another skyscraper. They built another factory. China talks a big game about environmentalism. They're going to put how many more dozens of coal power plants are they planning to put up in the rest of this year alone? It's horse shit. If climate change is real, then these are the people not taking it seriously. It's not my fault. I don't have a private jet. I don't go out and buy a bunch of Chinese shit. It's not my fault that this is happening. It's the globalist fault. The same people issuing these reports. When you look at their actions, their actual lifestyles, and compare it to what they're saying, it's night and day. This is how you know they're lying to you. It's NIMBYism because they want to make more money offshoring Western manufacturing to countries where they can exploit labor, they can re-import goods, sell them cheaper, and still make a greater profit margin. That requires, by the way, considerably lower efficiency and considerably more energy input to do all of that shipping, all of that moving of goods and services. They want that. And they want more government power, more regulatory power, because bureaucrats need to make a living too, even if they're subhumans. And they want NIMBYism. They want you to be happy, but they still want the supply and demand to be balanced. They just want someone else to get exploited. But they're globalists. They don't care. They don't care if it's a bunch of workers in Pennsylvania or a bunch of people in China. They don't have any national loyalty. This is fundamentally, at this point, a scam. If you really think that the world is being choked out by cow farts and CO2 from smokestacks and cars, you have to change. But they're not urging you to do that. Because change is difficult for the average person because they're goddamn lemmings. They just want more money from you. They want more taxes and shit. That's what this has devolved into. The UN's report should be completely ignored. All such climate reports should be ignored until the people pushing these reports make genuine fixes for that problem they've identified. They should all be wearing gloves and out planting trees right now. They should be out protesting outsourcing. Because a smokestack in China doesn't have to filter as much as one in Pennsylvania. But that's the thing. If a company comes to Pennsylvania and sets up shop, the housing authorities will bitch at them. Oh my God! Oh, bring me the fainting couch, Eustace, clutching their pearls. There's going to be a 5-story smokestack visible from my backyard. It's going to lower the property prices. It's horseshit. Can't you see that it's a goddamn scam? Hell, believe that climate change is real. Then fucking do something about it. But they're not. And they're not telling you to either. That's about all. Peace out.